Virgo? Dear Virgo, let's talk about your sign in June 2026. Dear Virgo, if Leo is stepping into the spotlight this month, you are learning something equally important: how to stop carrying everything alone. And honestly, that may be one of the hardest lessons for a Virgo, because you're often the reliable one, the problem solver, the organizer, the person who notices what everyone else overlooks, the person who quietly keeps things running. You help, you fix, you improve, you support, and sometimes you do all of that without ever asking for anything in return. But June has a very different message for you. This month asks, what happens when you allow other people to help you? What happens when you stop being the one holding everything together for just a moment? What happens when you receive instead of constantly giving? Because throughout much of June, your 11th house is strongly activated. The house of friendships, communities, groups, networks, shared goals, and the people who walk beside us on our journey. Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter are all spending significant time here. And that tells me something important. You are not meant to do everything alone right now. Support exists, resources exist, people exist, but you may need to let them in. Some Virgos may find themselves reconnecting with old friends. Others may join new communities. Some may discover opportunities through networking, and others may simply realize that there are people who genuinely want to help. The challenge is not whether support exists. The challenge is whether you're willing to receive it, because receiving can feel surprisingly vulnerable. Asking for help can feel uncomfortable, especially for people who are used to being capable. But June gently reminds you that interdependence is not weakness. It's part of being human. Now let's talk about career, because this is one of the strongest areas of the month for you. On June 15th, we have a new moon in Gemini, and for Virgo, this activates your 10th house, the highest point of the chart, the house of career, public reputation, recognition, purpose, and long-term achievements. This is a powerful new moon, perhaps one of the most important professional moments of the month, because new moons are beginnings. They are opportunities to plant seeds, to set intentions, to move towards something new. And when a new moon occurs in your 10th house, the universe often asks, what do you want to be known for? Not what pays the bills, not what keeps everyone happy, what genuinely matters to you. What legacy are you building? What contribution do you want to make? These questions may become increasingly important throughout June. Some Virgos may receive new opportunities. Others may begin planning a new chapter professionally. And some may finally recognize that they have outgrown an old path. Whatever your situation, the new moon encourages conscious action, not rushed action, not fearful action. Conscious action. Now let's talk about communication, because June asks for extra care here. Around June 4th, Mercury forms a challenging aspect with Neptune, and this can create confusion, misunderstandings, mixed messages, false assumptions, or situations where information is incomplete. Virgo, you are naturally deep, but even you may find certain situations difficult to read around this time. So don't rush. Ask questions, clarify expectations, double-check details, especially in professional matters. If something feels unclear, it probably is. Then around June 10th, Saturn creates additional pressure. Projects may slow down, plans may require adjustments, deadlines may feel heavier. You may wonder if you're making enough progress. If that happens, take a breath. Remember that delays are not necessarily failures. Saturn often slows things down so they can be built properly, not quickly, properly, and there is a difference. Fortunately, the energy improves significantly after June 19th. Mercury forms a supportive connection with Mars. Conversations become clearer, decisions become easier, negotiations become more productive. And if you've been waiting for the right moment to have an important discussion, this period is far more supportive. Your words carry more strength now. Use them wisely. Now let's talk about relationships. Because June brings both healing and growth. Around June 13th, Venus forms a challenging aspect to Chiron, and old relationship wounds may resurface. Past disappointments, old insecurities, memories you thought you had moved beyond. Sometimes healing arrives quietly, and sometimes it arrives through discomfort. If old emotions emerge, don't judge yourself. Don't assume you've failed. Healing isn't linear. It's a spiral. Sometimes we revisit familiar themes from a higher level of awareness. This is one of those moments. Then, around June 16th, everything shifts. Venus connects with Uranus, and suddenly there is fresh air, fresh perspective, fresh energy, unexpected developments, unexpected conversations, unexpected opportunities. Something may surprise you. And surprisingly enough, that surprise may be exactly what you need. Relationships that have felt stagnant may regain momentum. New connections may arrive unexpectedly, or you may simply see an existing situation differently. Toward the end of the month, Venus forms a supportive connection to Saturn, and this brings stability, commitment, depth, trust. The realization that meaningful relationships are not built through perfection, they're built through consistency. And this energy supports exactly that. Now let's talk about health and well-being, because Virgo is one of the signs most connected to daily routines. You understand the value of habits, structure, consistency. But June asks you an important question. Are your routines nourishing you, or merely keeping you busy? There's a difference. A routine can be productive without being supportive, efficient without being healthy, successful without being fulfilling. This month encourages you to look closely at your daily life, your sleep, your diet, your stress levels, your schedule, your emotional well-being, and ask yourself honestly, is this sustainable? Because sustainability matters. You are not a machine. You are a human being. One who deserves rest, one who deserves peace, one who deserves joy. On June 19th, Chiron enters Taurus, and this begins a beautiful healing journey. For Virgo, this healing may arrive through philosophy, learning, travel, nature, spiritual exploration, or simply seeing life from a broader perspective. Sometimes healing doesn't happen because circumstances change. Sometimes healing happens because our perspective changes, and Chiron may help you discover exactly that. Around June 28th, Mars forms a supportive aspect to Jupiter, and your energy increases. Motivation returns. Momentum builds. You may feel stronger, more optimistic, more ready to take action. This is wonderful energy for moving forward with plans that have been developing throughout the month. Then we arrive at the most spiritual part of your forecast, the end of June, because something significant happens here. Venus has already entered Leo, and on June 30th, Jupiter enters Leo as well. For Virgo, this activates your 12th house, the house of dreams, spirituality, reflection, the subconscious, and the hidden dimensions of life. Now this is interesting, because while many signs are moving toward external expansion, your journey is becoming more internal. The next year is not primarily about proving yourself. It's about understanding yourself. It's about listening, healing, releasing, trusting, and discovering what truly matters beneath the noise of everyday life. Think of it as a spiritual preparation year. A year when the universe works behind the scenes. A year when growth happens quietly, and often profoundly. You may become more interested in meditation, dream work, therapy, journaling, spiritual practices, or simply spending more time alone. Don't fight that process. Some of the most important answers arrive in silence. Then Mercury turns retrograde on June 29th. And once again, the message is reflection, review, reconsideration, not rushing, not forcing, not pushing. The end of June is asking you to pause, to look back before looking forward, to understand what you've learned before deciding what comes next. And finally, the full moon on June 30th asks you a very practical question. Where are you carrying too much? Where are you overburdened? Where are you doing work that could be shared? Because Virgo, you don't have to carry the entire world, and you were never meant to. If I could summarize June for Virgo in one sentence, it would be this. You are learning that true strength is not doing everything yourself. True strength is knowing when to accept support. June begins by surrounding you with community. It ends by guiding you inward. And somewhere between those two experiences, you may discover that the help you've been searching for has been available all along. Now let's move to Libra.